Today is Friday, October 11th, 2019. And today, a lot of what happened and is happening happened early this morning. So what does that mean, all right? Well, first off, the moon went void of course at 5:55 a.m. Now we know when the moon goes void of course, from previous videos that I've done, if you've watched those, then it's kind of a neutral time. It's basically like if you're gonna place a bet on sports, now is the time when the game is gonna end up in a tie. Or something screwy is gonna happen with the outcome. Now is the time when nothing really seems to be going either way or in any direction, good or bad. It just seems to be flat. It's kind of a time to avoid doing any serious work if you're working, maybe magically or, lighting candles for manifestation or something like that. You should probably wait until the moon gets back on track. Now, what does it mean when the moon is void of course? What do I mean by that? What I mean is that when the moon is in the sign, like it is in the sign of Pisces right now, then what happens is it will come to a point in that sign where it will no longer aspect any other planets before it exits the sun. So therefore, if it's not going to make any more aspects to any other planets, we consider the moon void of course. It's no longer going to touch anything else before it leaves. It's just kind of out there floating until it enters the next sign, and then it will have a course again. So now until 12:46 a.m. when the moon enters Aries, we will be in a void of course state. All right. So what else happened in the early morning hours at 4:02 a.m. was that the moon was square Jupiter. Now, I've already said before that if you have, let's say, an afflicted Jupiter in the natal chart, then this could be exacerbated by this aspect. If you barely have any aspects to Jupiter, or you're barely Jupiterian, meaning you're not a Sag and you're not a Pisces and you don't have many planets in those areas, or it's not placed prominently in your chart, then you may feel this a lot less. Now, how much are you really going to feel this aspect when it's happening at 4:02 in the morning? Probably not much. But if you're a dreamer, like me, and you have dreams often, then you really want to pay attention to that, because most likely, unless you're somebody who had to get up really early to go to work this morning, then around 3, 4, 5 in the morning you were dreaming. And because you were dreaming, and this was a time of processing the conscious world and your internal issues through the symbology of dreams, or through the symbolism of dreams, what you want to do here is you want to pay attention to what that was. Now, the moon squaring Jupiter is typically not a great aspect as far as developing or, continuing into social affairs or financial matters at that time. It's kind of a time not to go to extremes, to avoid extremes at all costs, and to kind of just ride it out until that aspect sort of, goes away a little bit. It's a tense time. Jupiter wants growth and expansion, and the moon has to do with, the domestic affairs. So it becomes not a good time to deal with those domestic affairs at that moment. So what dreams could have pointed out to you last night was the fact that internal issues, where places where you may go to excess, may be reflected by relationships in your dreams, relationships to siblings, people close to you, if you dreamt of close family members, or even if you dreamt of really close friends or people associated with you that are trying to teach you something about maybe your own repressed desires, places where the extreme is the repression, or maybe the extreme is the fact that you just go far too nuts expressing those parts of yourself, whether it be you work too much, or you desire money far too much, or you don't allow yourself to go out there and live the type of life you want, or have the relationships you want, or even the kind of dating life that you would like to have. You could find these things repressed or caged up at this time, or you may find that you're just dating way too much and you want to rein it in a little bit. Maybe you're working too much and you want to rein it in a little bit. So it's time to really pay attention to and focus in on that. In addition, the moon, exactly at the same time it went void, of course, sextile Pluto. Made a 60-degree aspect to it, 5:55 a.m. What does this mean? Okay, this, because it's the moon and not the sun, the moon, when it's aspecting Pluto harmoniously, what goes on there is now this becomes a brief period of time, again, probably while you were dreaming, where you gained insight or understanding, where you get some sort of clarity, you get clued in on the why of these evolutionary changes in your life. So you got these social aspects that are playing out in your dreams, and then you have the why that's coming in. It's like, why am I experiencing what I'm experiencing? It's a great time to write down your dreams if you have them. It's a great time to look at them from a social perspective, from an extreme perspective, but also an evolutionary perspective. Where are you on your evolutionary path as a soul, as a spiritual being? Pluto is a representation of that journey. Pluto has to deal with emotional clearing and karma, and at this point, we're taking steps towards a new level of that process. So each stage of your life, you're continuing on that journey, whether you're consciously aware or you just remain ignorant of that. Either way, it's happening. And the moon itself indicates that this evolutionary process that you're undergoing right now, okay, the moon is saying this is how we're going to apply it. The moon is right now in Pisces. So at this time, it's about staying the course towards your vision, not allowing your external circumstances to hold you back or to keep you down, like I had said a couple of days ago in my video when the moon entered Pisces. Also, it depends, where is your moon? Where is your Pluto? How many aspects are there to that, and how harmonious are they? Again, if you need help with the natal chart, that is what I do. So pay attention to this. Write down your dreams. Figure out what you were experiencing, what you're feeling in relation to this. You know, how is this lesson, the moon, sextile Pluto, being applied to your daily life? Ask yourself that question. How are you applying the lessons that you're learning now to your daily life? Once you start to play around with this and figure it out, you're like, okay, well, what I'm kind of learning is the fact that I go to an extreme over a job that I don't like. Or I like my job, but I want to level up and I haven't put in the work because I'm scared to, I'm scared to take that next step. I'm scared to take on more responsibility because I'm a Capricorn and I like to keep things on an even keel. And, as much as I'm built to be a manager, I'm afraid to take that step as, a manager, as an authoritative figure, and to actually have to step on people's emotions a little bit, or rather actually not focus on their emotions and actually have to deal with them from a managerial perspective in a more paternal perspective. So the evolutionary step there might be that you're looking to come into your destiny, if your sun is in Capricorn, your more spiritual role as a manager and as an authoritative figure. Therefore, you can serve in the way that you were meant to serve rather than feel responsible for and cater to the emotional states of the individuals around you. So you can see how this process takes place on every level. That's obviously just one example, very minute, but you can start to begin to see how you should play around with that. All right, so as always, if you would like to book an appointment with me, I'll be at Pixie Dust Monday and Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can call them up now. I'll link to them in this video. And you can book an appointment with me. Or you can also message me on Facebook and I can set it up for you. We do Facebook chat. I do telephone. Whatever it takes to get you the information that you need and the breakdown of your natal chart that you deserve. So let's book it. I'll see you there. If not, I really do hope this information was helpful. I try to link the collective as deeply as I can to your own personal life so you get some real practical value out of it. Because if you can't, then what good is this information that we're spewing? So I will see you next time, and you have a great day.